Should you consider filing for bankruptcy? I would say that if you're asking that question, then you're probably doing the right thing by considering it. My experience has been that most people wait too long before they file bankruptcy for a variety of reasons. Obviously, they think there's this big stigma against it. They think their credit's going to be destroyed. They think they're going to be shamed by their coworkers or whatever. And my experience has been that, generally speaking, those things don't happen at all. Now, what is it that leads people to have to file bankruptcy? Well, as you know, a lot of times people get medical bills, that maybe they don't have insurance. Something happens, maybe they lose their husband or their wife and they don't have the income that they had before. They could have lost a job, or they could have simply got into retirement age and now they're on a fixed income and they've got an accumulation of debt that they really can't afford to pay now that they're on a fixed income. We see a lot of that. So whatever the situation is, there's certain things that can happen that are a clue or a sign that maybe you should consider filing bankruptcy. Obviously, if you're unable to pay, say, even the minimums on your credit cards, that's a pretty good sign. If you're getting harassed by your creditors, if you're looking at those bills and you're saying, it's going to take me 10, 15 years to pay these bills, I really can't afford to pay it. Maybe you're not able to provide, for yourself or your family in the way that you'd like to, and maybe you've been paying for a long time on some of these bills, then I'd say that's another sign that perhaps you should file for bankruptcy. If you get to the point where judgments are getting entered against you, then obviously that's a serious thing. With the judgment, a creditor can attach your bank account, can garnish your wages. There's a number of things they can do that none of them are pleasant. And if you're having any of those considerations, then you should certainly give us a call. And, one of the biggest things that people go through is they start getting harassing phone calls from the creditors, and they really don't have a good answer for those creditors about how they're going to pay them. Well, then I'd say you should give us a call and we can talk about it. We don't charge for that initial consultation. We can give you up a full hour of our time just to see if you do qualify. Some people, maybe their house is, maybe the house that they've lived in, they've been paying on for years. They're considering taking out a second mortgage to pay off credit card debt or medical bills. I highly discourage that. I frequently have people come to me that they say, I took out this second mortgage, I paid these debts off, and now I realize I can't pay the second mortgage, or I can't even pay the remainder of the debts. Or perhaps they had to incur new charges on their credit cards and now they can't pay those. That is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make. So if you're thinking about doing that, give us a call and we can talk about your situation and see if perhaps now might be the time, rather than waiting until after you lose that hard-earned equity in your house. As you know, you can pay 10 years on a home mortgage and virtually pay nothing off of that equity because of the front loading of the interest on those mortgages. So if you do have equity in your house, I'm almost certain it was pretty hard-earned equity, and I'd hate to see you lose that. So just give us a call about that. And the other thing, if you're having to borrow from your family members, that's really not a good idea. You don't want to overly encumber them if especially if you think you may not be able to pay them back. So these are the kind of things that can happen that lead people to consider bankruptcy, and we're very happy to talk to you about those things. Just give us a call.